Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Today we're going to talk about 10 habits to avoid if you want to be successful. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast. And normally I talk about health and fitness stuff, but a lot of times I like to just talk about things that can make your life click and go a little bit easier, a little bit better, a little bit happier, more fulfilled. And sometimes I talk about travel, and sometimes I just talk about life hacks and things like that. And recently I've been talking with a few people that, I don't know, it just sparked up memories when I first, even before I started on a health and fitness journey or even taking care of myself, I just found myself fat and lazy. And I kind of wondered about that. You know, I'm seeing a lot of people getting to this point in the year and kind of putting off the resolutions. You know, maybe they had these resolutions, they're going for it. They kind of got sick with the flu or just sidetracked a little bit. They got back on track, but now they're like, oh, weather's getting a little bit better. Maybe I'll go biking when it's nicer out, or I'll go walking. And they keep putting things on hold and just kind of end up settling back into some lazy ways. So I started doing a Google search about it, and I came across a blog article by the name, a guy by the name of Darius Foroux, I think it is, Foroux, however you say that. But I thought it was interesting because he had been talking to a mentor of his that just seemed to be this upbeat, happy guy. And he was like, hey, what's your secret, dude? And the guy was, you know what? My big tip is to avoid being unsuccessful. Now, I know a lot of times we spend, share tips, or we always want to know what's that secret strategy to be successful. But one of them is to avoid being unsuccessful. I never thought of that. But just study what makes you unsuccessful or unhappy or broke or fat, etc., and try and eliminate those things out of your life. I know, easier said than done, right? But here's a list of some things, some habits that, according to this article, we shouldn't do. I resonated with a few of them, and let's see if you resonate with any of the following, and what are some areas that you feel that you could either change or totally eliminate. As a matter of fact, as I go through this, if you come across one and they're like, that's me, what would your life be like if it was gone? It no longer existed. Okay, top 10 list here, except it's not top. It's 10, but I'm not going from 10 to 1. Okay, so number 1, avoid always being distracted. You think about it. We've got phones, texts, dings, notifications, alerts. We're constantly bouncing from one thing to another, not focusing. And you can kind of picture the scene. You go to dinner or go over to the relative's house or whatever. And chances are, if people own phones, they're looking at them. They're texting. Now, I know some families have this no text phone thing, whatever, and they have kind of a ritual that they do. But you can even think of the person that maybe you've been talking to or connecting with, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, just a second, I got to take this, and then they're texting. It seems like they're gone for an hour right there in front of you. And so that's number 1, always being distracted. Number 2, only talking the talk. That here's an example. Saying I'm training for a marathon or I'm starting a business versus actually running the marathon or actually starting the business, okay? Those are two different things. A lot of times people will just say what they're doing, but really not taking any action or doing it at all. But strive to be someone that does things, someone that takes action, as opposed to somebody that just talks about things. Number 3, spending time with losers. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that word. I don't like calling anybody a loser, but here's the point. Spending enough time with losers, you become one yourself. And let's just spin it a different way. if you want to be fit, hang out with fit people. If you want to have a successful business or start a successful business, hang out with successful people. Feed off of that energy. You don't want to hang out with people that are totally, if you're wanting to get fit and you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are doing nothing but drinking beer and eating pizza, chances of you succeeding are going to be challenging. Okay? So spending time with losers was number 3. Number 4, they hate everything. Think about it. You know those people. The people who are haters, they especially hate people who succeed or who are doing well. And we're thinking, why can't you be happy for other people? You can still be cool and positive. Number 5, they procrastinate. And we got to think, what's the benefit of putting things off? Now, if putting things off means it's going to be an improved product of some sort or an improved decision, well, then that's one thing. But it probably isn't going to be improved. It's just delaying the fact, and it usually creates more stress. And what's the point of delaying something if it's going to be the same outcome, right? So do it now, do it now, do it now. Number 6 is they don't listen to others. They love themselves. They only talk about themselves. You probably know those people. But they usually don't stop and to listen to the ideas of others. So the idea is for those people to get to know people and just stop prejudging and to giving knee-jerk responses as if they know the other person and they've got the ideal solution for it. Listening to others because you care. Calling somebody and saying, hey, how are you? And then listening. Okay? Caring for people. Number 7 is they are lazy. This is what intrigued me. This is what got me into the post in the first place, because a lot of times I find myself in the lazy moment. You probably do too. You never feel like doing anything. We've all been there. But if it's becoming a habit where you're not feeling like going to dinner with your partner or going out and getting a great gift or sending a card to your mom and dad for their birthday, you got to flip that. Be a sport. Get off the couch. Participate in life. Participate with your family, friends, partner. Okay, the beauty, it lies in the novel experiences. And speaking of novel experiences, next week I'm going to have a special, a couple who have traveled the world, and they're going to share their experiences. They just recently did it. I'm so excited to have them on. And when I heard their story, I'm like, my audience needs to hear that. So they're experiencing life. And see, when you're lazy and you don't even give yourself a chance to experience new things, it's just not, it's not fair to you, but it's not fair to the other people in your life. Number 8 is they don't learn. And let's face it, learning's tough. It's a struggle. It takes time, dedication, discipline. But we live in such an exciting time right now where information's so accessible, and you can learn anything you wish. You just need to learn how to do it. And I know it takes brain power, okay? But it's totally worth it when you can learn a new skill or a new idea or just think a different way. Number 9, they are not nice. You probably know people who are not nice. Sometimes people think it's cool to be a jerk. They wear it like a badge of honor. But it's way cooler to just be nice. So try it sometime. You might make a few new friends, right? Number 10 here, they're quitters. And this was another reason why I went out and was doing some research today, because I find a lot of people that they just try something for a bit, and then they quit when things get just a little bit challenging or a little bit uncomfortable, and they justify it somehow, but they end up quitting. And they never realize, this makes me sad, but they never realize that the greatest success comes on just the other side of being uncomfortable. And just on the other side of that comfort zone, You probably heard that, some sort of quote like that. But, here's a quote by Thomas Edison. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. good food for thought. That's all I have for this week. I appreciate you for subscribing, for listening, for sharing this show with somebody you know and love. Not be a jerk. Don't do that. But think about that. Go back and listen to this podcast. Listen to the top 10. What are those things that maybe you resonate with that you can change? I know for me it was the procrastination thing. And sometimes being lazy and going, you know what? I gotta stop that. Nip it in the bud. Hopefully, I do nip it in the bud rather quickly. But that's taken work over the years. And I always strive to learn more, right? But what do you resonate with? If there's something on the list that you think that should have been there, please comment or email me, perrytinsley@gmail.com, and we can chat about it and share it with the audience. So I so appreciate you. Some of you are on the audio, some of you are on the video. You can just go over to iTunes and do a search for Power Blast Podcast. You can get it whichever one suits your needs, or get both. So you can listen in the car or just watch at home, whatever suits you, or just go into your podcast app. You can search for it there. And I'd appreciate it if you just gave an honest rating and review while you're in there. That'll help it reach a lot more people, because iTunes will give the podcast even more value. You absolutely rock, my friend. Remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week for a great interview. I can't wait. See you then.